Do you have a comment about going to Mars? What about you, sir? Have you thought about creating a new civilization on Mars much? Oh, I'm sorry. You have something to say now? Excuse me, sir, can I get your opinion really quickly?
Hey y'all, there's so much going on in the space world, and I've been delayed in providing your space news roundup because I've been coordinating a move to Austin, Texas, which I'm so excited about, but I had to get this episode out here because there's just too much stuff to cover and I don't want to be behind.
Point stage, engine arm action.
The shuttle has cleared the tower.
Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
Now, I am heading to Washington, D.C. for the next week to cover the AIAA SciTech Forum. I'm really looking forward to that. And we are also looking forward to the Electron rocket launch from Virginia. It dawned on me that because I'll be in the Washington, D.C. area, I might have a chance if I step outside Monday night to see the Rocket Lab Electron rocket launch, which is very exciting. So make sure if you are on the East Coast and in the area that you keep your eyes on the sky around 6 p.m. Eastern Time. If you've been following Rocket Lab, you'll know that they've had 32 launches from their pads at Launch Complex 1 in New Zealand, but finally, in January of 2023, they're set to take to the sky from their U.S. launch pad at NASA's Wallops launch site for the first time. The launch window for the Virginia is for Launch Lovers mission opens at 6 p.m. Eastern Time on January 23rd. Electron could be viewable at any time from the 2.5-minute mark after liftoff. So about 5,000 attendees from the aerospace industry will be at SciTech. So right now we're trying to coordinate maybe a group field trip outside to see this Electron rocket launch. So that is very exciting. We're also, of course, getting really excited for Starship to launch. Hey guys, this is courtesy of my friends in Florida. This is a 3D printing company called Bohemso, and they sent me a new Starship model which has the movable flaps and some really great details on the heat tiles here. So this is an awesome model. I will link this in the description. In fact, they've sent me a bunch of 3D printed models, including the Tesla bot, which I gave to Elon Musk back in October at AI Day, so clearly I got a replacement. So with Starship, we are awaiting that full 33-engine static fire test. That should be happening any day now, and then we're looking to late February, early March for the Starship orbital test flight. Now that was one of my main motivators in expediting this move to Austin. As some of you know, yes, I'm living with my parents in Portland, Oregon. Some of you have complained about the ceiling being so low and me looking like a giant. Well, all of that stuff is going to be solved because soon I will have a 2-bedroom apartment in Austin, and one of those bedrooms is going to be a dedicated Ellie in Space studio. So I'm just like over the moon excited for that, to actually set up a teleprompter. Many of you guys don't know, but behind the scenes, I'm constantly like stopping to read my phone, try to memorize things. It makes the editing process take longer than I'd like. Anyway, with that being said, I just want to thank all of my subscribers who pitched in to help me with this move. Some people asked me why I made a GoFundMe, and we have exceeded our goal. So first of all, that's really exciting. But some of my Patreon subscribers wanted to know how they could pitch in for the move. They see the value of my content and my coverage here on Ellie in Space. And I truly believe that being situated in Austin is just going to open so many doors for the channel. So thank you so much to everyone who has stepped up to help me become a Texan. I'm really excited. And how soon is this move happening? I have signed a lease and I am moving mid-February. So really looking forward to that. And hopefully I'm there in time for Starship. And speaking of Starship and, Elon Musk's mission to get us to Mars, we haven't heard him talk about Mars much lately because he's consumed by Twitter. But it appears that Mars is on his mind again. He replied to this tweet recently. Someone named Ellie in Space posted, "How often do you imagine life on #Mars?" And Elon commented, "A lot, to be honest," which blew me away, honestly. So the backstory of this tweet is I was flying home from Austin. I took a connecting flight through Salt Lake City, sitting in the Salt Lake City airport thinking, man, I've been so wrapped up in this move. Haven't really posted much on Twitter lately. And I think it's important to engage with people on Twitter and, keep the account active. So I was flipping through old photos and I found this wonderful photo that my friend took of me a few years ago. This was on Christmas Day, actually, near Mount Hood here in the Pacific Northwest. It was snowing that day. It was super cold. And I just felt like this picture kind of, it captured the, vision and the excitement and inspiration of looking up toward our future and thinking about Mars and stuff. So it was just really weird because I didn't tag Elon. And I also, first, the caption was red like Mars because I'm wearing a red coat. And then I was like, well, that's dumb. Mars doesn't look like this shade of red. So I was like, okay, how can I interact with people more? Maybe I'll ask them a question. So how often do you imagine going to Mars? And I don't know. I woke up the next morning and, I almost even deleted the tweet. I was like, it's just dumb. Like, who really cares? This is like an old photo, whatever. So that's really exciting. But it gives us, an insight to the fact that Elon is definitely still thinking about Mars, and we're definitely thinking about it as a lot of exciting stuff is approaching with Starship. So that was pretty cool. Of course, I would still love to interview him, but I'm really going to try to make that happen this year. So anyway, enough about that. In the world of Twitter, because it is becoming a great source for news or real-time, breaking updates about several things, Buzz Aldrin celebrated his 93rd birthday, and he tweeted that on his birthday, he is also celebrating tying the knot with his longtime love, Dr. Anka Faur? Geez, I'm probably butchering that. I'm sorry. They tied the knot. They were joined in holy matrimony in a private ceremony in Los Angeles, and they are as excited as eloping teenagers. So, I don't know, for 93, he looks pretty awesome. And I'm tying this in because what caught my attention after posting that tweet about Mars is the amount of people who still absolutely doubt the mission, the viability of going to Mars. We shouldn't even be trying. The amount of FUD in the space world is real too. And so Scott, my friend, tweeted, "Space is extremely unforgiving. The long-term consequences on human health cannot be understated. Humans will never be able to survive, let alone work there. By the way, the second person to walk on the moon just turned 93. Happy birthday, Buzz." So Scott is always cracking jokes, but it reminded me of, hey, there's a great example of someone who is still alive and doing what seems like very well, and someone who has walked on the moon. So I really think that, Mars is completely viable and something that we should be doing. And I'm glad that most of you seem to be aligned with that vision and that future for us. We also learned that members at the International Space Station will have an emergency way home if they so need, thanks to a recent refitting of a Crew Dragon capsule. A seat liner from the damaged Soyuz MS-22 capsule at the ISS has been relocated to Endurance. This has now converted a SpaceX Crew Dragon capsule to a 5-person lifeboat if the crew needs to be forced to evacuate if there's like an extreme emergency. Now, the ISS mission management team made this decision to relocate the seat liner on January 12th. This has been done to provide lifeboat capabilities in the event that NASA astronaut Frank Rubio would need to return to Earth because of an emergency evacuation from the ISS. So back in December, an apparent micrometeorite struck the Soyuz, damaging its cooling system. Roscosmos deemed the spacecraft as unsafe, so crew would not be able to ride back to Earth. That forced Roscosmos and NASA to find a solution. Well, that solution is an MS-23. This is an uncrewed replacement to the Soyuz vehicle, but it won't launch to the ISS until February 22nd at the earliest. So with that being about a month from now, they needed another temporary solution, and that's where SpaceX came in. Now keep in mind, a full evacuation of the ISS has never occurred, but if you don't plan for it, it might happen. You should always plan for it, and it could happen. So they needed to increase the crew capacity of Endurance. This was originally configured for 4 astronauts, And of course, they needed that extra seat liner so that all 5 crew members would have a safe way home if they needed it. And look at this. If I had a photo of the week, which I would love to do as a segment in the future when I'm more adjusted and settled into a studio in Austin, but if I had a photo of the week, this would be the photo of the week. Check out this photo from the International Space Station of the SpaceX Falcon Heavy launch. This, of course, is SpaceX's most powerful rocket, and it was very visible from orbit. The SpaceX Falcon Heavy lifted off Sunday, January 15th from NASA's Kennedy Space Center in Florida. It sent multiple satellites for the U.S. Space Force on a mission called USS F-67. Of course, photographers from the ground got some awesome shots, but the ISS was in the right place on Sunday. An external high-definition camera on the ISS captured the launch plume of the SpaceX Falcon Heavy rocket after it had ascended to Earth orbit following its liftoff Sunday. The space station was flying 262 miles, or 422 kilometers above the Atlantic Ocean, just after an orbital sunset at the time of the photograph. So this is just a glimpse, a snapshot of kind of things that have happened in the past few days. There's still so much to cover, and I'm really excited to have a set studio in Austin, a complete bedroom dedicated to making Ellie in Space Studio kind of feel like a TV studio, which is what I'm very used to. One of the things I am planning on getting is a teleprompter so that my editing flow is a little bit easier. Maybe you guys don't know, I'm still doing all the editing, all the shooting, all the brainstorming. I'm doing like everything, yeah. So, but I'm very thankful to everyone who has helped me get to Austin sooner. I really believe that I'm just going to have so much content to cover there. In fact, last year I flew to Texas 8 times, and that was kind of a wake-up sign for me that, well, I think I need to be in Texas and really give you that boots on the ground coverage. So I have so many ideas. If you want to be a part of some of that behind the scenes brainstorming and help for the Ellie in Space channel, please consider checking out my Patreon. My patrons are the bread and butter of the channel. YouTube revenue has been not great. And if you ask other creators, they'll probably say the same thing. So again, just thank you so much. I'm really excited, and I promise I will deliver for you because I'm proud to be Ellie in Space. And I'm proud that you trust me to bring you space coverage and other coverage about turning sci-fi into our reality. First of all, I want to say thank you to all of the Patreons. Get the frick out of here, bro. Oh my God, he's so annoying. But yes, this is a great model, and I will edit this part out because, oh God. Man, I've been considering getting like a Lego set to make like a shuttle or something, and if I have this much trouble, well, I don't know how that'll go. Thought it could be a good idea for like an AMA Ask Me Anything where I'm like, doing Legos and talking about space. All right. Sir?